Alrighty, welcome to my rambles, or the title says RMW Rambles. Well, not even the title. Well, yeah, it does say my title, because the other episode was yesterday. Today's a new day, and I am trailing slightly behind for when I would want to go to the gym, but we're still going, because that's what discipline is. You still go, although it's not exactly the time that you set for yourself. However, before I begin to ramble, what is today's word of the day? So I'm just sitting here, just going through the pages, and that one. Planking. Planking is today's word. It is a noun. It is 1, planks, collectively. 2, a covering of planks. Wow. You know what I know planking as? That hellish torture exercise that you do to grow your abs. You know? That is planking to people who go to the gym. Some people will know what that is. Other people actually might just know it as just planks collectively. Alrighty. Time to get on the road. Time to go about it. Now, I realized yesterday that the audio was not as great. And that's because I placed my mic on the other seat of my car and not closer. So now it should be a bit more consistent. I also am driving, so like I lean back, I'll lean forward. You can hear the fluctuation in the audio. These are just my morning rambles. I know I premiere these at 7:30 p.m. and so that difference might not actually... Oh, I don't know what I was about to say there, to be honest. I gotta be real. 7:30 is when I like showing these off because it gives me time to go ahead and make the thumbnail, upload it to my computer, and draw. Yeah, the drawings on the back, that's the bigger part of these rambles. Getting those drawings done. Now, I'm trying to make it an effort to get those immediately done after the gym. Which, yeah, that's the goal. And that will be the goal, and that's what I'll be pushing for. The drawings are inspired by a plethora of things. So, yeah, yesterday's was inspired by music. There were songs I was listening to. I think listening to music while I was doing it is the way I'm going to go about it. I don't mean that every single piece is going to be musically inspired. However, music is amazing. I listen to it in the gym. I normally would listen to it in the car. But here we are talking, and you're also sitting here listening to me talk. And so like you're hearing me talk, and I'm hearing myself talk. And then I hear myself talk again when I'm sitting here uploading these audio files and making sure that the audio isn't too botched. And so I listen to myself a lot. It's crazy. However, we were talking about music. Oh, who am I to place myself into this topic like that? That is just crazy. Yeah, music's amazing. It helps, it assists with a lot of things. Studies show this, studies show that. Use music, use a genre of music as a sort of, I don't want to say trigger, but I'll use the word trigger as a trigger for a certain type of mindset that you want to go ahead and enter. You know, when we listen to like salsa, you want to dance. Or if you're listening to sad music, if you're listening to techno, if you're listening to bluegrass, if you're listening to jazz, classical, breakcore, nightcore, they're all different types of genres that trigger a different sense of emotional response, and that's dependent on person to person. And I'll say in my case, to not leverage that to give my mind a sort of signal that this is the type of focus that I want to enter while doing something, good thing I'm leaving some things on the table. I'm leaving some things on the table. Yeah. Woo. Today's arms. Excuse me. Yesterday was legs. We did squats, we did RDLs, and I realized that I took my sweet time. However, I was taking a lot of time on the breathing that I need to focus on while doing squats and RDLs to get great stretch, great range of motions, and to not cause myself to pass out, because that's not what we need at the gym. Oh, and I finished off with some stretching, dynamic stretching, and some static stretching towards the end with a bit of abs. It was 15-ish minutes, so, and a lot more of it was dynamic and static stretching than it was abs, because many people know what it's like to train abs. Many. I don't have to. That's an experience you learn yourself when you're like, I really want my abs to show. All right, so let's begin by doing however many sets of Russian twist and scissor jacks and mountain climbers, and most important, how about let's planking. Let's plank. Let's plank. And and you finish that all off, and you're like, man, the pump of your abs just makes you look bigger and bloated, and you look in the mirror and you're just like, wow, this is great. For me to have 6 packs, I have to keep it's true, you have to do those things. You have to expose yourself to those things. So you're not looking at it for the end of the day results. You're looking at it as a building block for the end of the year results. End of day, that's great. End of day, I believe, should really be focused on, did you show up? Did you work out the muscle groups that you believed you were going to work out? And did you end the day off in a caloric deficit? So my caloric deficit yesterday, we got to be honest, you got to be open. I have to be completely transparent with myself. I ate hot dogs with bacon on it and grilled bell pepper and onions, and then I went for a long period without eating, and then I destroyed 6 Oreos and 4 Chip Ahoy Hershey this, and these are things, and I was with milk, with lactate milk. Let's emphasize lactate milk, because I didn't cook, and I actually had stopped myself from eating more Oreos, because I could destroy a case of Oreos. There's no next minute type of situation. Not tomorrow. No. The clock's 7 o'clock, and 7:02, we're already at the funeral ceremony for this case of Oreos. It's game over. So, yeah, and then I finished it off with a cup of noodles and tuna, drained the juice. I put a bit of mayonnaise in this. If you know, you know. If you don't, give it a try. You don't knock until you try it is a saying that some people say. I'm just saying, why not just try it? Unless you're allergic, then don't try it. Don't knock it. Don't. You might knock yourself over at that point. Ooh. Yeah. So today is wonderful. Today's wonderful. So today I will be cooking. I will be making meal preps for myself. Span over a couple days. I gotta go grocery shopping, at least for the meat. We're gonna go buy chicken. Woo, we love chicken. Chicken's great. Chicken will always be a staple. Ground turkey, 97.3. Sorry. I'm dehydrated. I drank water. I drank. Hold on, pause. I drank 2 gallons of water. 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 2 I had water. I'm gonna stop myself there. I had water, a cup of water, before getting in the car. I thought that was gonna help, but I think it's also because I had just brushed my... Holy cow, why are we packed today, guys? Holy cow. Anywho, I'm a little confused on what's going on here today, but it is what it is. I'm at the... Okay, man. I'm gonna have to... What's it called? Take a moment, because I show up later, and then everybody else is also here. But that's a good thing. That is a great thing. Everybody being here is a sign that we are all being physically fit as a society. That's great. That is great. Dang, 11 minutes. Whoa. Means I gotta draw a lot quicker today. Or not even that. Like, I could just compress it and speed up the video for the artwork. I'll see how I'm vibing. I'll see how I am vibing today. However, thank you for being here. I know if you're watching this when it's premiering, you're as confused as I am. And if you're watching this way, way later down the line, because you're learning about the history of me, I said, you caught me there. Thank you. It's halfway through the year. So, 6 months of dedication and refining and being in a place. So next year, I'm far, far, far more credible for the things that I do say. But that begins today. It begins every single waking moment now. And in these moments now, you make them count. Because, as one song I like listening to says, time keeps on slipping away. Thank you. See ya.